Welcome, everybody, once again to the Poindexter Lounge. My name is Enosh, aka Enosh Fett, and with me, as always, is the lovely
Tiff-tastic.
And Tiff, what is the Poindexter Lounge?
A place for nerds.
That's right. It's a place where you and I can come together with Grand Tiff Tarkin here, or Tiff-tastic, whatever she is this week. I'm not sure.
Super Tiff.
Okay, we'll get to that later. Anyways, but this is a place where we can come together and talk about cool, fun, and nerdy stuff together, all right? If this is your first time here in the lounge, please consider hitting that subscribe button so that you can become part of this group, because we want as many people to be part of this group as possible.
Nerd out with us.
Yes, nerd out. And hit that notifications bell so that you know when we put out new videos. And Tiff, how often do we put out new videos?
Like all the time.
Like every single day, yo. It's our life, man. It's what we do. All right? And so please hit that notifications bell. Also, share the video. Share it with other nerds so that
Share
they
the
know.
nerd love.
All right? Share that nerd love and welcome in other nerds here to the Nerd Lounge, to the Poindexter Lounge, all right? I totally went against the branding there and called it the Nerd Lounge. But it's the Poindexter Lounge, which is the same thing. It's all good. But here's the thing. Also, please, if you like the content that we talk about today, give us a thumbs up, all right? Just to let us know that you like what we're doing. And I know you hear it a million times on YouTube, every single video, but we want to have a conversation with you. We want to have interaction with you, all right? So please, leave a comment down in the comment section about what we're talking about your thoughts about it. And then also, please, go to Twitter. Keep the conversation going there, at Enosh Music or
At Grand Tiff Tarkin.
That's right, and let's have a talk about this. Now, Tiff, today is a very special episode of the Poindexter Lounge. It's like in the 80s where it was
It's like deep thoughts.
it's a very special episode of Family Ties. Nobody's going to be hooked on drugs. Nobody's going to be do anything like that. No, today is our answer to somebody actually wrote us and asked us to do a review of the show Krypton.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. And I thought it was a great idea, considering the fact we were watching Krypton anyways.
Yes, we were.
And I'm a big Superman fan. You're a big Superman fan.
A little bit.
Right? And you know what? I just realized something. I'm wearing the wrong hat for this.
You are.
For this. Hold on just one second. I'll be right back.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't realize you had a Superman hat.
Voila! There we go. See, I totally forgot that Adam Strange wears a Detroit Tigers hat in this thing. I've been wearing this Tigers hat for a couple of videos. I was like, I'll switch it up and put something else. And I was like, I'm just dumb sometimes, all right? But it's okay. But so today we are talking about Krypton, Season 1. And we want to say a shout out to Jeremy, who requested this. And see, this goes to show you, folks. This goes to show you, if you communicate with us and tell us what you want to see,
we will make a video on it.
We will make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so now we are talking about
Krypton.
Tiffany.
Yes.
Overall, what did you think of Season 1 of Krypton?
I enjoyed it. I know that it was a little slow for some people over here. I thought it was slow, but I also take into account that other shows like Gotham and you need to take some episodes to get things going, to explain, an entire series on where you're trying to go with it in a couple episodes. But overall, I thought it was a great show, and it got more and more exciting near the end. But I thought it was very cool to kind of see Krypton. I mean, you always see Superman leaving, let's hurry up and get him off the planet before it explodes. So to kind of see Krypton in its prime is kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like you said, for me, the show started off painfully slow.
See, it wasn't painful for me. It was just slow.
Oh, the first 5 episodes, I got to be honest with you, I was starting to wonder if I could actually get through all 10 episodes of this show, because to me, it was just...
I was getting ready to watch by myself.
I liked the design. Man, I thought, and we can talk about this later, but I thought the voice of Rao looked super cool. Everybody looked really cool. I loved the costumes. I loved all that stuff. But man, it just seemed like there was all this political stuff, and it was like Star Wars Episode 1, like multiplied many times. But here's the thing: Episode 6 came along, and
he got all excited.
I was like, you can ask her. I was sitting there and I was going, oh my goodness, Like, this show completely did a 180. It turned completely
It
around
was like
for
a
me.
roller coaster. He was going like slowly up
Click,
the
click,
hill,
click,
and then
click,
all of a
click,
sudden
click,
it was
click,
like,
click, click, click. Whee! All right. So, yeah. So, I mean, I really dug it from there. And it was like those last 5 episodes went by so fast.
they did.
I mean, we like finished off, like 4 episodes in one day?
Yep.
You know, and
But
and
we
before
do that, though. We did that with
I
Stranger
know.
Things.
But before that, though, it seemed like it took us forever to get through those first 5
because
episodes.
you weren't enjoying it, so it was taking like time out of your life. So.
I know, that's true. All right. So basically, what is the premise of this? We're not going to go episode by episode because it would just take way too long. But the premise of the show is basically it follows Superman's grandfather,
Yep.
Seg-El, whose family, the House of El, has been ostracized and shamed. Seg-El fights to redeem his family's honor and save his beloved world from chaos. Also, side note, somebody has come back in time
Yes, to try to help a little bit.
well, to help and to hurt. First, we got somebody came back in time to
Yeah.
hurt, and to make sure that Superman never exists, and tries to put an end to Superman.
Got to be starting something. Got to be starting something.
Stuck in the middle. Yeah. Okay, so somebody comes back in time to stop Superman from ever being born, and so Adam Strange comes back in time wearing a tiger hat.
Yeah, which is super cool.
Way to go on the tiger hat. I liked that. It comes back in time to try to make sure that Superman lives. And how they do it is kind of like with a Back to the Future kind of thing. What do they do?
Very cool. I love how they take Superman's cape with, the red cape with the S, and it's just standing there like on this stand, but little by little it starts disintegrating, and it shows how much time that they have left to try to work to figure out what's going on and how to make the cape not disappear, because then if the cape disappears, just like in Back to the Future, Superman doesn't exist.
Yes, and you don't want Superman to disappear while he's trying to play, Earth Angel, with his mom and dad trying to get together. And there's a whole subplot where Superman, like, his mom falls in love with him. And, sorry, wrong movie. So it's kind of a time travel thing.
Yep.
There's all kinds of stakes to be had.
It's interesting to see the House of El that's always in every movie that you've seen. This crazy, strong, very, big, bold, family name, and to see it kind of besmirched a little bit is something that you don't see, and trying to see how they're trying to get back from that is kind of cool too.
Yeah. So we're just going to go. I want to go down the list of the cast of characters. We want to leave this one up to you to watch because you can still watch this show. We are going to talk about some spoilers, and none of the things that we've talked about up to this point have been spoilers.
No.
Those are all just part of the show, okay?
You can read that in the bio.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about some spoilers here and there. So if you don't want to know about that, you may want to save this till there. If you just want to kind of know about the show, right?
Every little bit helps.
So first of all, Seg-El.
Yes.
Tiff, what did you think of his character?
I thought Seg was cool. You need to have a character who is, mysterious but yet strong, and it's like he really showed every aspect of his character, I think, in those 10 episodes. You're able to see him, vulnerable. You see how he felt about his own grandfather and everything that happened. But then you also see him, with his love relationship and his family and fighting against, pretty much the bad guys and just all the mysteries that he finds out. And there's a lot going on, and I think he takes it in stride.
Yeah, at first I thought that he seemed really wooden with his acting.
But he wasn't as bad as Anakin, kind of wooden.
No, he was not as bad as Hayden Christensen.
No.
But he started out that way. But the thing is, again, by the end of the season, you could see where he had really come into the character. The guy who plays him, Cameron, I think it's Cuff or Coof? Coof? I don't know. Cuffe. But it could be Kufi.
It's Cameron Kufi.
Kufi. I don't know. But by the end of the season, he seemed to really come into his own as the character. Now, little twist. Seg-El has a love interest.
A couple of them.
Yes, well, a couple of them. But the first one is Georgina Campbell as Lita Zod.
Yes.
So you got an El who's in love with a Zod. What do you think? What did you think of her?
It changes throughout the season for me, for both of who he is interested in. But I think that Lita Zod I liked her at first, and then she kind of changed. And the season kind of explains, why, because she's a Zod and she's got, different priorities.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of shows like a I don't know, like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing in the beginning, because it's like, oh, they're not supposed to be together, but they are, and it's
Yeah.
you kind of root for them, and then all of a sudden some things change mid-season, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't think they should be together. So
Well, because on Krypton,
Yeah.
people don't just come together in a normal way. They're
and
kind
it's
of
not
put
even like
together.
you're betrothed; it's almost like this is just how it works.
Yeah, it's like arranged marriages,
Arranged babies.
arranged babies, because it does follow the Man of Steel thing with
Yes.
the codex and the birthing chamber.
It's
So
almost like, here's my blood, here's your blood. Oh, look, this is our baby, and this is what happens to him until he dies.
exactly. So
I kind of like not knowing with my kids and going on that adventure with them.
yeah. So on the one hand, you had Nissa-Vex,
Yes.
who was somebody that at first we liked, that kind of turned sour. But then on the other end of that love triangle,
Yes.
you had Nissa-Vex, played by Wallace Day,
Yes.
who she starts off as somebody I just could not stand
See, now,
at all.
I didn't feel that way about her in the
Oh.
beginning. I
Ugh.
had this like frustration with her, thinking, oh man, I don't like her. I want to punch her in the throat. But
But she liked her, though.
no, it's what I feel that way about some people in this house sometimes too. But yet we still love each other.
We do.
It's
We're okay.
You don't know who I'm talking about.
We're okay.
Okay, anyway, but it's one of those things that I liked her because she was so, she had different layers. She was like, you didn't know who her, how much of a hold her dad had on her.
Yeah.
She was higher in power, so it's like, did she use that a specific way? She had no problem changing in front of everybody, so it's like she was confident in herself, but yet she's still, being betrothed to Seg. It was one of those things that it was like an arrangement, but yet she saw it differently, but kind of held that, at arm's length because she didn't want him to know. And so it was kind of, she had layers herself, but I kind of like what happened to her from the beginning, how she stood up to her dad, and then also what she did, at the end, and how I'm rooting for them now. It's like we were already set together, but now it's almost kind of working out, and it's kind of cool.
Lita and a lot of roles changed place by the end of the season.
That was amazing in 10 episodes to see that huge reversal on half of the characters.
The shift really happened because you had Lita, who we liked at first, ended up not liking so much.
Yeah.
You had Nissa, who we didn't really care for at first, but ended up really liking at the end.
Rooting for her.
Rooting for her. And then you had their parents, right?
Yes.
So Lita's mom see, I got it right here, Jaina Zod.
Yep.
Right? And she's the Primus of the Kryptonian Military
and she
Guild.
is beyond kick butt. She
oh
is
my goodness. And at first I couldn't stand her.
No.
But by the end of the season, that switched, and
she made some sacrifices. She changed what Zods do.
yeah,
Pretty much.
for sure.
Nice way to put it.
And then of course there was Darren Vex,
Yep.
who was Nissa's father, who
He kind of reminded me of like a space version of one of the guys in Braveheart. It sounds weird, but it's just like the way that he played both sides of the fence in the war. It was like he's, on this side, you think he's doing this, and then all of a sudden he double crosses, and it's like, okay, what's he going to do next?
yeah.
And kind of gets himself in trouble for it, but it's kind of fun to see how he gets there.
Yeah, so you had Dev M, who he's engaged to Lita Zod. So you had Lita's engaged to Dev. You have Seg, who's engaged to Nissa. So you got it wasn't just a love triangle. It was like a
Quadrangle.
quadrangle. I mean, it was just, I don't know what if that's a thing.
Everybody's with everybody else.
Yeah, but
except for who they're supposed to be with.
Yeah, and we really don't know who they're supposed to be with.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is even though we know Seg is Superman's dad, we don't know
Who the
where
parent?
else that's supposed to go. Adam Strange was an interesting character. I didn't think that he was as strong.
But maybe he was supposed to help set up for this next season, because it showed either the last episode or near the last where you saw him kind of like in a Quantum Leap kind of thing where he's like talking to the people that are helping him time travel.
Very
like,
Quantum
just
Leap.
give me one more chance. Let me do what I can to not mess up and help make this right. So it was kind of, that's what it reminded me of, was Quantum Leap.
You had Val-El,
Yeah.
who is Seg's grandfather.
Yep.
And I loved his character for a lot of the season. I mean, the beginning of the show, he's
Yeah.
you think he's dead.
Yeah.
He's vanquished, and you think he's dead. And then you get this computerized
Holographic version of Grandpa.
So very much like
Hello, Grandpa.
it's very much like Quantum Leap, isn't it? Very much, because you got a hologram and everything, kind of helping you out and
Yep.
teaching you and stuff.
Trying to change the future.
But then at the end, you find out that Grandpa was in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a spoiler there for you. Grandpa's in the Phantom Zone, and he wasn't there alone.
No.
Here's the big surprise kind of thing that happens.
There's more surprises than that.
But one of the big surprises is Dru-Zod, and if you don't know that by name, Dru-Zod is General Zod.
Yeah.
From, Superman.
But that's also one of those things where you talked in other episodes that we've done about changes and changing characters, either sexual orientation or their race or whatever, and not always working out, but I think it worked very well in this instance.
Yes, I got to say, when I first heard that he was General Zod, I was like, oh, man, like what? And it's not, like I said, I don't have a problem with African American characters. I love strong
but it's
African
when you want to change
characters.
something drastically from one race to another, one sexual orientation to
was
another, just for the sake of doing it.
Well, and the thing was, they were kind of loosely making this on Man of Steel's kind of thing, and so I was kind of like, how does that work? You know? But come to find out, it's its own thing. It's loosely based in, but it's not the definitive. This
works.
Is what happened before. But man, getting into it. He was a kick-butt General Zod.
You could tell he was a Zod, and he was made for that.
Yeah, and I think the fact that he was just this strong African-American role.
No holds barred.
And he comes back saying that Lita is his mother.
Yeah.
Right? But here's the twist. He also comes back saying that Seg is his father. And I don't know about that.
Or there more kids. They got some explaining to do in the next season.
Yes, next season there's got to be some explaining to do because I don't know if I like the idea of Jor-El and General Zod being brothers.
Yeah,
so
they gotta figure things out.
But so that's basically your cast of characters right there, and here's something interesting. About half.
Your favorite?
Oh man, it was so good.
This is going to be very.
Let's talk about
very
there's Brainiac.
spoilery.
There's Brainiac also. So there's the voice of Rao who gets infected with Brainiac.
Yep.
And man, it was so good to see Brainiac finally.
Yes.
I have wanted to see Brainiac in a Superman live action something
Not
for so long.
just as someone else. He looked very, very cool.
So good. I loved that. And thought that they did that so well, and he looked great. And if you're a Superman fan and you've wanted to see Brainiac for a while, this was
the
it.
place.
But so here's something. Okay, what? It wasn't like we had a technical difficulty or anything, and had to. We're wearing the exact same thing. It's not like it's a different day or something.
No,
I have no idea what you're talking about. Hey, folks. Okay, so we're talking about this. We got through all the characters, all everybody. But now let's talk about, Tiff.
Yes.
The surprise guest in all of this.
Yes.
Which really...
It brings it home, and it makes you wonder what's going to happen next season because of this.
Yes, absolutely. And that is, folks, this guy shows up. This guy shows up. Well, just one of them. But same guy. We're talking about Doomsday, people. Doomsday shows up on this show, and I just got to say, okay... Here's the thing. Spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warnings. Doomsday's on there for like the first few episodes. All you see is him.
Looks like he's frozen.
Yes, he's locked up in his containment unit. And just like the few seconds you see him.
It looks very, very good.
He's amazing. He doesn't even do anything.
Nope.
And he's amazing.
But they got the look down.
Well, look, I got to say, so we've gotten 2 live-action versions of Doomsday so far. We got Smallville, and we got Batman vs. Superman. This, by far, blows all that away. I mean, just the look alone. Yeah. If that's all we got to see was just him just sitting there, that'd be it. And Tiff, I love how they go canon on this. Mm-hmm. They talk about how it was created... But we all know that Doomsday was created by Kryptonian scientists to be the ultimate weapon, right? And that's exactly what they do. And they've got people protecting it, and it's so cool. Who created it, Tiff?
It was actually from the House of El, and it has the big Superman S. That's what's blocking, being able to get in there, trying to see what's in there. But these people are blaming Seg because he's from the House of El, so they just automatically think that he's a part of that. So it's interesting to see the House of El, who's usually so strong and so powerful, and
Hmm.
to see them, being pretty much an outcast because they're the ones that made this and they're not at the hierarchy right now.
Well, and it's interesting too because to even access Doomsday, it has to be an L
Yes.
and a Zod,
Yes.
right? And so that's the
DNA.
yeah. So that's the and so they have to cut their hand and use their blood over the insignia, which is a combination of the House of El and the House of
Yes.
Zod. But here's the thing, and this goes back to what we were talking about Zod,
Hmm.
about General Zod, how they're trying to make him now that he's both an L and a Zod, and he uses his own blood and
To open it on his own.
to open it on his own. And so I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah.
Oh man, but at the very end, when all is said and done, and they beat Brainiac, and well, they beat Brainiac, but
But there's a price.
oh, so Brainiac gets pulled into the Phantom Zone
Yep.
because they trick him, right? But who goes with him, Tiff?
Seg goes with him, so we don't know what that means. We don't know how that's going to play out in the next season.
Yeah. So, and then of course, after they all disappear, I think it's cool because they set up the second season so well.
Yes.
So well.
With so many questions, and it just makes me excited. Like, I love the summer, but I want fall to hurry up and get here so we can see what's happening in our shows and the new shows that have started.
Well, my concern is this show may not come back till next year now. I don't know. But you were talking about how you got emotional when with the cape at the end.
Yep.
With the cape?
Well, the cape with it disappearing and trying to make sure that Superman doesn't go away. When this happens and they get pulled into the Phantom Zone, that's where we find out about Zod's real true motive on why he came back. And now all of a sudden, out pops a Zod cape. So now that means that he's there, Superman is not. So what does that mean? Does that mean because Seg is gone with Brainiac and not knowing what happens, and in time it stands still technically for the outside world in the Phantom Zone? So how long will he be in there? Will he get out? He's going to have to, but it's one of those things that there's so many questions they need to answer, and now we got to wait until next year.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But the trailer for season 2, folks.
Yes.
I mean, I like that they put out a trailer right away for season
Yes.
2.
To get us excited.
And that is so cool because they show that General Zod is now ruling over Krypton,
Yep.
which was his intent all along. And not only now is he ruling over Krypton, but he's got his mother on
Yep.
one side, and then he's got Dev M on the
Yes.
other side. So, and I really think that the Dev's got to be his dad. I don't know.
But maybe Dev has some L in him, and maybe that's why he has both of the bloodlines. But he looks more like both of those two put together
Yeah,
than he does with Seg.
yeah. But
So-
so they set that up. They show that Zod is ruling, and then, oh my goodness,
La piece de resistance.
the last shot, folks. If you
Iconic.
read comic books at all and you know anything about Doomsday, you know that those classic panels in the
Yeah.
comics when they first start introducing Doomsday in the comics, long before the comics even came out, when they just started teasing it in the comics. At the end of Superman comic books, you would see a fist pounding onto a piece of metal, trying to get out of a containment. You didn't know what it was. Turned out it was Doomsday. That's the last scene that we get,
Yes.
is the fist hitting through the glass. It's Doomsday, and just that roar.
Yep.
He looks like Doomsday. I cannot wait to see what
Yes.
they do with this and what they do with the character of Doomsday.
Hmm.
I mean, how do you stop him?
I don't think that Superman didn't have a very good chance doing it. So
Just saying.
this is pre-Superman, obviously. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do and how they follow the comics.
Yeah, so, but man. So I gotta say, I really enjoyed the show.
Yes. So
Once
did
it
I.
kicked in, I was there, man.
I liked it before it kicked in, but
That's okay. That's okay. Hey, look, like I said, if you haven't watched the show, I definitely encourage you to watch it because it's a good show. Just, those first 5 episodes that are kind of slow, the setup is it
they're
pays off.
informational.
Yes, but the setup pays off, and I don't mind a good setup as long as it pays off.
Yep.
And I really felt that the payoff was good for this show, for these 10 episodes. So Tiff, 1 to 10, what is your score for this show?
I gotta give about an 8.5.
An 8.5.
Because it was a little slow, but it wasn't as slow for me as it was for you. I liked the information. It was kind of setting up like a war movie kind of thing. You have information, you got things that are going on in the background to lead up to the second half that was more action-packed and intense. But I also like just the different storylines. It's like soap opera. Who's with who and where is everyone going and what does this mean now with the switcheroo at the end? So it's not a perfect 10 for me yet, but it could get there if it continues the way that it's going. So I give it an 8.5.
Yeah, so I give it an 8, just for the same reasons, because it was slow at first, but man, when it kicked in, it was really good.
Yes.
And so I think as DC shows go, it definitely,
It's up there.
that the latter half of the season definitely kicked it up a notch and put it right there where it needed to be as far as a DC show. You know, because all these DC shows, we get all these prequels and stuff. I mean, one of the things that I love about seeing The Flash and even Arrow, that I'm not even a big watcher of Arrow, but at least we get to see those heroes in action.
Yes.
You know, one of the
How
problems
they came to be.
Yeah, one of the problems with these prequel things is they talk about the characters that we want to see,
Yes.
but we don't actually get to see the
This is
characters.
a story about Superman that Superman is not even in, just his cape is, and now that's gone.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where they go with this for sure. But I definitely encourage you to watch it. I give it an 8. She gives it an 8.5. And but we want to hear from you. Did you watch season 1 of Krypton?
If not, check it out.
Oh my goodness, what did you think of season 1 of Krypton? Jeremy, we did this video for you, man.
Yes.
So you got to chime in on what you thought of season 1 of Krypton.
What
okay?
did we miss? What did we not miss? What did you agree with?
Yes. Hey, what are some key points for you in season 1? Those of you who watch the show, you know, we just kind of tried to randomly talk about
Generalize
some
it.
stuff, because otherwise we'd be here all day. 10 episodes, right? But the thing is we want to know from you, what are some of those key points that you really enjoyed,
That stood out for you.
that stood out for you? We want to hear from you. So leave your comment down in the comment section, or tweet us at Twitter at Enosh Music, and
At Grand Tiff Tarkin.
yes, and of course use the hashtag Poindexter's Lounge. Okay. Thanks so much for joining us today. Again, my name is Enosh, aka Enosh Fett. With me as always is the lovely
Tifftastic.
All right, and until next time, don't mix your Zods and your L's
No.
together. It's not like a Reese's cup.
No.
No siree. All right, guys. Bye-bye.